Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we are talking about Chipotle. And is Chipotle stock a buy? This stock was requested by Meow Ryan. He asked for CMG, so we are doing Chipotle today. I hope you guys really enjoy this. Hit a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these Is It a Buy videos, and please in the comment section let me know what stock you'd like to see me break down on the video next week. So let's go ahead and get right into Chipotle here and kind of view it. So first off, Chipotle, we're going to act like we have no clue what kind of business they are. Chipotle Mexican Grill, a Delaware corporation, together with its subsidiaries. Chipotle, the company, operates Chipotle Mexican Grill restaurants, which serve a focused menu of burritos, tacos, burrito bowls, and burrito without a tortilla, salads, using fresh ingredients. As of December 31st, 2015, we operated almost 2,000 Chipotle restaurants through the United States, as well as 11 in Canada, 7 in England, 4 in France, 1 in Germany. Additionally, our restaurants include 13 ShopHouse Southeast Asian Kitchen restaurants serving Asian-inspired cuisine. And they're also invested in a pizza restaurant as well. So right off the bat here, we get a pretty good idea of what Chipotle is. We probably already know what Chipotle is if you live in America. It's basically a fast casual Mexican place, that serves Mexican type foods on a Mexican grill. And they have an expanding business a little bit internationally. We see that they have very few internationally known restaurants right now. They have, the most they have in any other country was Canada, and it's 11. So they're hardly expanded internationally at all. That's potentially a huge opportunity if they can execute that and do that properly and build on that. Also, we see that they're into some other businesses they're starting up, the ShopHouse Southeast Asian Kitchen. That could be an exciting idea. What if someday they have 2,000 of those, and those are all very profitable restaurants, just the same way Chipotle is? That's another huge opportunity. They're also investing in the pizza restaurant, which I'm not quite as excited about. And they've also just gotten into the burger business. They used to open up their first burger place, and sales have been very strong according to upper management. So they're into a lot of other businesses that they're putting their toes in right now to see if this could be the next Chipotle, this or that. So that's exciting to see. It's exciting to see. And from what we've heard from management and seen, all those businesses are doing pretty well so far. So let's go ahead and look into this more. Now this, I highlighted, this is, by the way, all this information we're looking at here in this beginning part, this is all in the 10K annual report section on the company's investor relations page. This I highlighted restaurant site selection. We believe site selection is critical to our success unless we devote substantial time and effort to evaluating each potential location. It goes into talking more about how they select sites and those kinds of things. I think this is huge. Anytime you're in any type of fast food place, fast casual type food place, convenience store, pharmacy, location is key. It is so key. And I gotta say, I've been to Chipotle's all across America. We're talking California, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, South Carolina. I've been to so many all across the United States. And I've gotta say, I've never been to a Chipotle that did not have a good location. Something I would consider, with my experience and background in site selection, which I used to perform for my old company, I see nothing. I've never seen a bad Chipotle location. I've never seen a bad one. I'm like, oh, this is such a bad location. It's dead. It's off this road. Why would they put it here? Never, ever, ever. That's extremely important. That's a very good skill Chipotle has, that they can adapt to these new brands if they end up, going those routes. If they want to expand that Southeast Asian kitchen and, have 1,000, 2,000 restaurants of that, I have a lot of confidence that they'll be able to pick very good locations for that business model. So that is big when you're looking at Chipotle, in my opinion, and any restaurant-related stock for that matter. Let's go ahead and look into this more. So now we're going ahead and looking more at this ShopHouse. We opened our first ShopHouse Southeast Asian Kitchen during 2011, so about 5 years ago, and we now have a total of 13 ShopHouse restaurants. ShopHouse serves a menu that, like at Chipotle's, focused main dishes consist of rice and noodle bowls made with steak, chicken, meatballs, made with pork and chicken, or tofu. So, Basically, the ShopHouse East Asian Kitchen, it's got a Chipotle type model. I would suggest you guys, when you're done this video, you search on YouTube if you've never seen it, the ShopHouse East Asian Kitchen, and actually take a view for yourself and kind of see what it's like. It reminds me so much of the Chipotle experience. You go online, you say, you want this, and I want this, and I don't want that, I want this, and they just put it all there, and everything's kind of ready to go. And it looks pretty freaking good. If I had one in my state, I would gladly go and try it out. It looks freaking awesome. So this model I'm very excited about when I look into Chipotle. I think it has a lot of potential to expand and expand, but they've done it very slowly. Look at that. They opened their first one in 2011. 5 years later, they only have 13. So they're not like going full bore into this, like, they're trying to test the waters and see, okay, this works, this doesn't work so good. And I think that's really smart. And also that leaves more money for them to put to their main business right now, which is opening up Chipotle restaurants. So, but at some point in time, that Chipotle growth at least in the United States is going to die. It's going to die. It's going to end. You can only put so many restaurants, so many places as far as Chipotle goes. This gives an opportunity to grow and double the company, in my opinion, in the future, if they can do it properly and do it right. Next up, now we're in the risk factors section of this annual report, and we're looking at risk related to food safety incidents that occurred in 2015. Our system-wide restaurant sales were adversely impacted beginning in the fourth quarter of 2015 by food safety incidents associated with our restaurants, and we may not be able to regain lost sales. During late October and early November 2015, illness caused by E. coli bacteria was connected to a number of restaurants, initially in Washington and Oregon. This is huge. And just as I mentioned actually when we broke down Shake Shack last week, I mentioned that don't matter what restaurant you ever invest in, this is always the biggest risk factor. If you have something like an E. coli type situation, that can kill that stock so bad, and sometimes it can end restaurants. I've been extremely impressed in the way Chipotle has handled this negative situation and kind of, I guess you could say, wrap the wound. That's what they've done. They basically wrapped the wound so they're bleeding much less than I actually anticipated them bleeding. But it still hurt their business dramatically. They went from a growth engine growing, comp store sales, which we'll look at in a little while, but, way up here, to then decreasing way down almost overnight. And that's what happens when you have an E. coli situation. Everybody gets freaked out. No one wants to eat there. Even I didn't go to Chipotle for months, and I used to go to Chipotle at least once a month, if not once every couple weeks. I didn't go there for 3, 4, 5 months after the situation. There's some customers that may never be won back because of the situation, and I think this is very important to look at when you're looking at any restaurant stock, and in particular Chipotle, because they've actually gone through this situation now. Our business could be adversely affected by increased labor costs or difficulties finding the right employees for our restaurants and field leaders. This is another important factor I'm taking into account. We see all across the United States right now wages increasing, and we see minimum wages state by state being increased pretty dramatically. A lot of states are going 20, 30, 40% higher on their minimum wage than they used to. I think that has a potential to be a great thing for the overall economy. Personally, that's my I guess you could say, view on it. But as far as Chipotle, as far as food-related stocks, I don't see it helping them at all, because you got to eat no matter what. So if you eat Chipotle once a week, when minimum wage is higher, you're probably still going to eat Chipotle once a week. I don't see these type of businesses being helped by a higher minimum wage. There's many other businesses like housing and cars and all those things that can be helped by higher wages. But food, you're going to eat food regardless. You're going to go to McDonald's or Chipotle or Taco Bell or wherever, regardless of whether, the wages are at $10 an hour or $12 an hour. So, but those wages, if they go higher and higher, they will hurt Chipotle's operating margins. And then also you'll need to then raise the wages on the managers and whatnot. Those all need to be paid more, because, if an assistant manager is getting paid $12 an hour right now, and the line cook's being paid $12 an hour, something's wrong there. So you're going to need to jack the assistant manager up to $14 an hour, so on and so forth. So this has a big impact potential on all food-related stocks in the fast food, fast casual restaurant space. Now let's go ahead and look at those financials. So we have 2013 all the way on the far right and 2015 all the way on the far left. Now, it is amazing to me that they were able to still have a decent growth year as far as revenue and net income when last year, over 2014, despite the whole E. coli situation and how dramatically that negatively affected the fourth quarter numbers. The fourth quarter numbers were absolutely pathetic that Chipotle reported. So they would have had a ridiculously great growth year again as far as revenues and net income went. But even with the the E. coli situation, they still had decent growth. So we look, 2013, they did $3.2 billion in revenue. They did $4.5 billion last year. They did $327 million in net income in 2013. They did $475 million last year. And once again, last year did have that one quarter with the horrible sales from the E. coli situation. So we can see here, guys, that Chipotle is a nice growth company, or at least has been a nice growth company in the past. Will it happen in the future? We're going to have to view that more. Balance sheet. Balance sheet, we have a very strong balance sheet here. Look at this. We have about $250 million in cash and cash equivalents. We're looking at only 2015, just so you guys know. We have $415 million in short-term investments. We have $622 million in long-term investments. We have no short-term debt and no long-term debt at all. So we had about 1.3 billion in cash and investments, more than we have any type of debt. So that is an extremely strong balance sheet, extremely strong. One of the best I've seen in quite a while. I'm very impressed by this balance sheet. It doesn't get much better than that, to be honest, guys. It does not. So if you're looking for a model balance sheet, that's your model balance sheet to look at when you're looking at into a company. Now, this is their latest quarterly results they announced about 2 weeks ago. So this was for the, July, August, and September quarter. Revenue decreased 14.8% to $1 billion. Not so good. Comparable store transactions down 15.2%. Now remember, this is year over year. So this is this year versus last year in that same quarter, which they were not affected by the E. coli situation in that quarter. Comparable restaurant sales decreased 21.9%, which includes a 0.8% decrease in revenue differential related to unredeemed Chipotle rewards. So, net income, looking at the net income line, $7.8 million, a decrease from $144.9 million the year before in the same quarter. So we can see it's just a disaster. It's just a freaking disaster as far as what type of numbers are reporting now versus what type of numbers they reported last year at this time. When you go from making a profit of $145 million to only making a profit of $8 million 1 year later, that's an absolute disaster. Comparable store sales down 15%, that's a disaster. The question is, are things getting better at Chipotle, or are they getting even worse? Because this is a disastrous quarter here. It's really sad to see. So let's go ahead and view this some more. So now we're going ahead and we're looking at basically what management is saying about, things here. We continue to make steady progress in our sales recovery for the third quarter. We are earning back our customers' trust, and research demonstrates that our people are feeling better about our brand, the quality of food. While this year has been a year of reinvestment, we are now focused on value. Today, we will share our financial and operating goals for 2017 as we plan to achieve them, said Steve Ells, founder and chairman and co-CEO of Chipotle. So let's go ahead and look at the comparable store trends here. Monthly comparable store restaurant sales declines improved 16.3% from a low of 36% in January 2016. Imagine that, a 36% decline they were experiencing in the month of January, which was just a couple months after the E. coli situation. That might be the worst comparable store sales I've seen for any restaurant, any retailer ever in my entire investing career. I've never seen a down 36% ever. But that is what can happen to a restaurant stock when you go through an E. coli situation or something like that. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So let's go ahead and look at their outlook, because the outlook is very important because we're looking toward the future. So for 2016, management expects the following: to open 220 to 235 restaurants. That's really awesome. Just so you guys know, it's about 10% growth in restaurants because they have about 2,000 currently. Comparable restaurant sales declines in the low single digits for the fourth quarter. Now this is big here, guys, because they had been decreasing at 10, 20, 30%, and we even saw at 36%. So now they're expecting only single digit declines. So that could be 9%, that could be 1%. But the fact that they're now expecting that's a lot better, because now we're getting to a spot where usually when you start only declining low single digits, then you start to all of a sudden break even, and then you get back to growth. So the fact that they're only expecting that proves to me that things are getting better at Chipotle, if that proves true, of course, that things are getting better at Chipotle and they're on the path to recovery, which is going to be big for their future, because if they're going to just be stuck in this low single digit loss of business, obviously at some point they'll go out of business. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see here. Next up, we're looking at 2017. Management expects the following: 195 to 210 new restaurants. Comparable restaurant sales increase in the high single digits. This is big, guys. They're expecting to get back to high single digit growth next year. So not only are they expecting just very, very small decrease in this next coming quarter, but the next year they expect to get back to growth, which is a fabulous thing. That's what we need to see if we're going to invest in a stock. We don't want a stock that's shrinking. We need a stock that's increasing in the future. So that's a very, very good sign by them. Now, Chipotle is kind of near its 52-week range as far as the low of it. The $352 is the low. When I took this screenshot, it was $414. And it's been all the way up to $614. That was, of course, before the E. coli situation happened. And actually before that, it was even up to $700. And that stock was going to the moon before that. Market cap of $12 billion. PE of 167, extremely high. We have a forward PE of 44. So, what do you guys think I'm going to say in regards to Chipotle? This is a very controversial stock. Am I going to say it's a buy? Am I going to say it's not a buy? To me, Chipotle is a long-term buy. It's one of those stocks, it's one of those rare stocks that you buy it, you put it in the filing cabinet, and you don't look at it for the next 5 years. If you do, you look at it every once in a while. That's the way I feel about Chipotle stock. You buy it and you just say, whatever happens in the short term, happens in the short term. I don't care. I'm just freaking buying it, and I trust that 5-10 years down the road, this company is going to be a lot bigger than they are, and all those types of things. Chipotle, I wouldn't be surprised if the stock's $250 in a few months. I wouldn't be surprised if it's $550 in a few months. In the short term, you really don't know, because there's a lot of controversy. Are they going to get back to growth here very soon? Are they going to stay in this slow decline? How is their business going to expand internationally? I think there's huge potential for Chipotle. Internationally, it's a monstrous opportunity. The Southeast Asian kitchen, I think, is a huge opportunity in the United States and internationally, and they haven't even really touched on that business yet. They're getting into the burger business a bit, which is okay. I'm not super excited about that. I'm much more excited about the Southeast Asian kitchen. They also have the pizza place. They're kind of expanding out slowly but surely. So they have a lot of things going for them. And very, very, I guess you could say, very high-end food for the prices they serve them for. So I look at Chipotle, I see a lot of opportunity. I see a great balance sheet. I see a company that's going to probably, more than likely, get back to nice growth beginning next year. So, which next year starts in 3 months from now. So we're not looking at a very long time away. So Chipotle is just a buy for me. It's a buy, but it's a long-term buy. It's not a, freak out if it goes down over the next 6 months or 3 months or whatever, because this company, I think, has extremely, extremely strong long-term fundamentals for the company. And I'm very confident in management. The way they handled the E. coli situation, which almost every restaurant, major restaurant, goes through at some point in time, the way they've handled it is better than I've seen anyone handle it throughout my investing career. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Please leave me in the comment section which stock you guys would like to see broken down next week. And if you have not subscribed, you may want to. I talk about stock market a lot on this channel, including this series every single week. We talk about business. I'm an entrepreneur. I talk about entrepreneurship. And we also talk about personal finance a bit and give a lot of personal finance tips on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.